There's something just always so cool about that character with silver or white hair. Like, I don't know what it is, but they just always have like aura. And I'm going to regret saying aura unironically in like a few months' time, but they just do. I think especially in anime, there's a lot more examples there. But I didn't really get into anime, or at least into shonen, until I was about 17. I'd seen shows like Attack on Titan and what's the other one? One Punch Man, Sword Art Online, things that I'd kind of consider like introducing to my friends who are new to anime. It wasn't until I started watching shows like Naruto, Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, and eventually Jujutsu Kaisen that the image of the laid-back, white-haired, but secretly hacks and OP kind of character, you know, that character who should definitely have their own spin-off show. Yeah, it wasn't until then that it kind of became imprinted into my brain. So when planning the characters for my game and my story, I knew that this trope of the white, silver-haired sensei kind of character was something that I definitely wanted to add. So today I'm working on the concept of the character who's going to take on that role, Lance. When I was younger, I would draw these characters out and I'll play out different backstories and scenarios of them in my head. And Lance was definitely my favorite. And I kind of sound like a kid who didn't have any friends and just played with like imaginary friends in my head. But it's like, I promise guys, I had real friends, okay? So I would give them lore and I would kind of create their powers, but over time I've basically just forgotten most of them, but some of them have bled into my game Codex Blaze, and that also includes Lance. Lance was initially heavily inspired by some of my favorite speedsters in fiction. There was my favorite Greek god, which was Hermes, and there is the Flash, which was my favorite superhero. So I really wanted to lean into the whole speedster with an attitude, kind of like Sonic, if you will. But as I got into anime, I kind of felt the need to flesh out the character's abilities to be more than just like a one-trick pony. So hear me out, but I feel like anime characters, when it comes to their abilities and their movesets, they are just so much better than superhero ones. I think maybe it's because they're more diverse, or sometimes they're more complicated in their power system. Superheroes tend to be like one-trick ponies with their powers kind of set in stone. You know, like the Flash runs fast and Hulk smashes, Green Arrow shoots arrows, and Batman hospitalizes low-income people and people who are mentally ill. It's not going to go over well with Batman fans. Meanwhile, I feel like anime characters, they spend a lot of time developing and perfecting their moves within a designed power system that is just way more consistent and less anything can happen. Like, one of my favorite moments was seeing Naruto spend time working on the Rasen Shuriken. The way he mixes the shadow clones and the transformations with the Rasen Shuriken as well is just some top tier creativity. And in my opinion, I think that's what makes anime powers so much more interesting than superhero media. So while most of the videos that I do are game related, it can sometimes take months for me to come up with ideas for videos or to just finish those projects. And I've been kind of thinking about doing art videos because they would be much easier for me to make while I come up with devlogs and other projects on the side. So if you're interested in seeing more art videos or more range on my channel, then let me know by liking and commenting. Taking inspiration from anime power systems, I've created my own power system to use in Codex Blaze. There's a rough breakdown of it in this video that I'll link somewhere. And in that power system, now having a character who is as fast as the Flash or Hermes or Quicksilver, it really just doesn't fit within the power sets. I mean, it is an incredibly overpowered ability, which always leads to problem when it comes to writing speedsters. Like, it's just so annoying the amount of times it happens. Like, literally that one panel made me stop reading comic books because... So anyway, I kind of put this self-rule on designing characters, which is that if they were going to be like speedsters or really fast, then it has to be a byproduct of an ability or of their training. It can't just be like oh yeah, like that's my thing, is like I'm just fast, like I just run at like the speed of light for no reason. So in the lore, in the game, he's supposed to be a mentor role, but more than just being a mentor, I've always pictured him as like an inventive type of person. So I thought giving him a power that kind of reflected his mechanical engineering skills, but also gave him like a byproduct of super speed was the way to go. And it took a while to like come up with a cohesive idea, one that actually worked and looked good, but eventually it all came together. Rewatching the MCU recently, I saw a lot of similarities between Iron Man and what I was envisioning for Lance. I really like the way that Iron Man would use the nanotech in the later movies to just create like different types of weapons, or I don't know, it made him a lot more creative with his moveset and his fighting rather than just doing like blast and missile or whatever he was doing at first. There was also Fastos in that movie that you just did not watch. Fun fact, I actually loved the Eternals movie. I watched it like 3 times, maybe even 4. I just feel like it had so much potential and it would have banged as a TV show instead. But yeah, I really liked the way that Fastos created tech on the fly and could just like move it around and like summon it to his arm or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. I quite liked Gojo's almost like telekinetic abilities and the way he did the pull and the push reverse type of thing. I'm oversimplifying it for sure, but you know. And also with the 6 eyes, instead of just copying the 6 eyes or doing something that's just a Sharingan, I thought with Lance being inventive and being very sciencey, being like an Iron Man level intellect, he could just come up with something that could recreate that, maybe like Up glasses or some kind of HUD that has like X-ray vision or thermal vision or like blaze energy, chakra, cursed energy vision, whatever. I haven't had a single original idea in years. Also, to get him moving around really fast, I thought it would be more fun for me to do him flying fast instead of running fast. Since one of the major inspirations is Hermes, I think that's why I have him as a flying character rather than a running one. One character that kind of inspired the way he would fly around was Vince Mogneji, so eventually it all just fit together and the whole thing just clicked. So Lance will be able to use his powers in the magic system, which I'm calling Blaze Energy. He'll be able to use that to construct these mechanical parts and use that within the magic system to create different devices and different gadgets and weapons. So because of the magic system is very common for people of his type to have wind element, so I gave him wind powers, but since it's very common, the way he uses it is different. And yeah, it will basically give him like aerokinesis type of thing. Think maybe Pain from Naruto. So given the inspirations, I've kind of described him as like, it's somewhere between Kisuke and Gojo and Iron Man and Hermes. So a bit of a weird mix. So I envision Lance being kind of like the trickster and the creator archetype. So he'd be witty, cunning and crafty, but also inventive and innovative. He's probably the type of person who is always making something, always has a bunch of projects, lots of unfinished ones too. He definitely always has a joke or a sarcastic combat up his sleeve, that kind of thing. The downside is that this archetype is often insensitive, impulsive, selfish, or egotistical. At this point, it's kind of just like a self-insert. So here we are on the first official initial concept art of Lance. To me, I think it manages to look unique, but also if you squint and take like 3 meters step back, you can kind of see the resemblance to like Gojo or Kakashi or something. You know, you can see the influence there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, hopefully it was like cool as a little insight to my process of concepting and creating characters. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, and also stay tuned for more. Peace. I don't know why I even do that in videos. It just seems like natural. It's like peace. Like there's some Japanese schoolgirl type shit like